So, Anders, what does she need to do to get the Vawa process started?
Well, she needs to get a really good attorney. I mean, I hate to say that, and not to pat myself on the back. That's not the point. Is she doesn't know what she doesn't know. Like before she meets an attorney, she might not even know that VAWA was an option. When she speaks to an asylum officer or Customs Border Patrol agent, they may not tell her that VAWA is an option. So it's possible she comes in asking for asylum, gets released, goes to New Jersey, then consults with an attorney, and only then finds out that VAWA is even an option. So let's start first with asylum. Under the present rules, she needs to file an asylum application. It's Form I-589 before her 1 year deadline, meaning 1 year anniversary from when she entered the United States. Now, Customs and Border Patrol is supposed to tell her that. There was litigation under the Trump administration because the Trump administration was purposely not informing that and actually telling, oh, wait until you get go to court, which often was more than a year afterwards and when she would have already lost her opportunity. That, believe it or not, was happening. Litigation has resolved that. So on the asylum, well, from our perspective, in terms of what we charge based on what we do. And every case is a little bit different. So what I look at is an analysis tool that I created, I call the 953 method. There are 9 principal paths to legal status. So VAWA is one, asylum is another, there's 9 total. Each one of them has a different process and a different price. Then is there anything in her past that disqualifies her? Being in removal is one of them. Then is there a way to fix that? So in the asylum and asylum context only, there's a fee for the application. There's a fee for every time we go to court, and there's a fee for trial. Because filing the application with the evidence and then filing with the documentation necessary for trial. So it's a lot of work at the beginning and a lot of work at the end. And sometimes there's multiple court appearances in between. So when the system is working correctly, maybe she has 3 or 4 court appearances. All of that happens within a year. Well, now the average wait time for someone in removal is, and for asylum, is 4.5 to 5 years. So that could be multiple court appearances where nothing is really happening. And we can't get a trial date, but the court wants us to keep on coming, or the government has questions, or they need something, or they don't have their file, whatever the reason is. So we charge a fee for each time we go to court, and then we charge a fee before we go do the last trial. There's motions that need to be done, there's briefs, there's evidence that needs to be accumulated, and if the asylum application was filed initially, and now we're 4 or 5 years later, it could be she's now married, it could be she has other kids, it could be her circumstances have evolved. Maybe the threat has only increased. Depending on her circumstances. So the application needs to be updated, and then it needs to be prepared for that final trial, which includes affidavits, includes witness prep, maybe getting experts and prepping those experts, and then showing up and presenting the trial. So that's the asylum. That's also assuming there's nothing that disqualifies her. Crimes, prior orders of removal, that might need to be fixed. Now, and then there's, well, who else is claiming with her? So if it's just her, fee doesn't change. If it's her and spouse, there's an additional fee. If it's her and child, again, in this example, Maria is, her children are US citizens. So they're listed in the application, but they don't actually need the benefit. But what happens, but Lupe is not in the United States. Right. So let's say she goes to trial and she wins trial. Lupe is outside the United States. Now, she would then need to follow to join. I was just asked this question yesterday. Well, what do I do if I'm running away from my spouse and the child is in Guatemala and I don't have legal custody of the child? Well, that's a problem. Because I can help you win your asylum, but I can't get you legal custody in Guatemala for your child. Now, in the example that we have, Lupe is with her grandmother, which is Maria's parents. So they can get the passport for her. They can take her to the US Embassy, where she will get a stamp on her passport, and then will have to travel to the United States. Now, if Maria is filing for asylum, she can't really go back to Guatemala to pick up her child. So how does her child get here? Interesting question. Someone's going to have to help her, because Lupe, not only does she have cerebral palsy, she's also 2 years old. She's not going to be able to travel back and forth on her own. So sometimes it's a relative or a family friend that has to apply for a visa in order to bring her to the US, right? Now, how much does that cost? It depends. For us, every court appearances is